Me name Jason. He name Rob. How's it going, Rob?
Speak freely, but don't spoil the galactic starship. Hashtag.
Right as we ended yesterday, we were cracking up at the Star Wars Twitter, going out and saying to speak freely, but don't spoil the book of Boba Fett. And it was like,
Everyone's got Spider-Man fever, even Boba Fett. He's here with me waiting for the home release.
It's like,
we're both wearing masks though, so we're good.
I mean, you didn't. I read on Twitter he crawled out of the Sarlacc. Ruined
for Chrono Trigger, dude. You know what I mean? They only get one copy because they're cheap bastards, and I'm usually hogging it. And he's, you know, I threatened to delete his save file, but I don't. I just like to see him sweat.
Somebody was mad on in the comments, and they're like, does Rob like anything but Married with Children? And I was like, no, he doesn't. That's why he's here.
Specifically, the first 4 seasons and the 3rd episode of the 5th season. That's what I could just loop it. What are they talking about? I don't like anything. It's a so-so episode. I think someone was it Campy or so. I think it was Campy who said the filler episode shouldn't be your first episode. And there should have been 2. Like, because it cuts off like in a flashback, bro. Like as you.
Well, that's what I texted you last night. I actually went through. I did another watch. I watched, to its credit, that I really do truly love this thing. Is I watched it like 5 times now. I can watch that thing 5 times. I'm pretty much done with it, you know. But I watched it 5 times. I can't do that with most of the stuff. And as I was watching it, I was like looking at. I'm like, my dad saw it. My dad was like, he seemed like he was kind of like pretty weak in it, and you know, and that's something that people keep saying that they're finding that weakness there, and I saw it as strength, the fact that he was going through the stuff and then what he was doing still. But people aren't seeing it that way. And I was like, why does it leave that impression? And so when I watched it the last time, I get to the very end of it, and I'm like, he gets his ass kicked, gets put in his little Michael Jackson, you know, sleeping with Bobo chamber or whatever. And as he's in there, I don't know why these lights keep doing this crazy thing tonight. But anyways, as he's doing that, we go to a flashback, but we end on the flashback. It never resolves. And in terms of it being an episode, if it was a piece of music, you need it to resolve. It's like doing a little staircase down on a scale and then ending the song. That's not what you do. And so that was really strange. I don't know if that psychologically makes people want to watch it the next part. And maybe when it's all done, that will be a good choice to get you on to the next step. But in terms of it being a weekly series right now, people think Boba's weak, and I think that's why. I think that's the main reason why the memory sticks.
I think the editing in the episode is the weakest part of the whole bit, and it hangs on areas like again, the conversation between him and the mayor's like messenger. Yeah, it's oddly structured, like with the delays, the timing there's something off. And the fact that we got 2 episodes, this is all we got of Boba Fett beyond the teaser and him and you know, of him picking up Fennec in episode 1, or sorry, Mando season 1. Then I'd be like, oh, okay, so he's changed. But we've seen him be a tank, like, because he's a 7-year-old guy. So now he goes through and he just beats the shit out of everyone. I mean, we've seen Robert Rodriguez direct them in like the world's biggest bar fight outside, you know what I mean, against like 100 stormtroopers, and now he's like, nah man, I'll fight, I'll take it easy. It's like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Bespin's biggest wish for 2022 is that Rob becomes his friend and no longer wants to fight him. We'll have to see how it goes when we get to your article in a few minutes, Bespin. because he might love you. I mean, he might walk off the show and just start writing for you. I don't know what could happen. It's live.
Right? Yeah. Have you seen my texts? You don't want me writing for you. I texted one thing to Johnny, and he was like, "What is going on?" Like, okay, all right, man. Apparently, I'm a speaker. Like, and even then, that's questionable. How would you speaking?
I don't know. Is it fair to call her Weinstein's former minion? Because I mean, I know a lot of people who worked for Miramax over the years, and I don't know if I would call them all minions. You know what I mean? I like that one you went down yesterday for airplane perv, whatever his name is. Like I don't know if this is that same situation, even though it may be presented that way in the Fandom Menace soon.
Anyone here ever work for Walmart? You work for worse people than Weinstein.
Oh no! Well,
sorry.
You
may not realize it, but they've done far more damage to him. That man is a monster, and the Waltons deserve to be in the Hague. So,
yeah.
Period.
We'll see. Yeah. Marty says, "Just take it to the carbon freezing chamber." Yeah, cool off, boys. Cool off. All right. So this popped up for Acolyte and like Production Insider Weekly, Monthly. This stuff is about as reliable as you cannot get. It's not that reliable. It is definitely it definitely shows intent.
Please tell me those phone numbers aren't. If it's not reliable, I hope people don't fucking bug them. You know what I mean?
It's the Lucasfilm phone number. I think I'm pretty sure, but this is all public stuff, and this image is going around. So I would, if I was releasing the story, I would have censored that, but I didn't, so I'm not. Yeah, Disney UK 3 Queen, Caroline Street, whatever. Don't go there. The Star Wars series is a female-driven action mystery thriller with martial arts elements that will take us into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. May to November. Amandla Stenberg mentioned for the role of Aura. So that's what we have on that right there for today. And yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say if we are getting the martial arts Star Wars series, this will be the Terras Kasi. This is going to be Terras Kasi. They're not going to.
Well,
they even
my first script on.
What?
That's what I wrote my first script on.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, send it to Weinstein's underling. Get the job, dude, and then give me the spoilers.
Marty out there doing his only murders in the podcast.
So I think the new Disney chairwoman will bury the
Acolyte. oh, is it who's the dope ass cat who always leaves us good comments? Darzik. I forget the name. He said Doug Hennig is the one. Is that Kurt Hennig's like Doug cousin? Like Doug Hennig is Kurt Hennig, right? Kurt Hennig. It's Mr. Perfect, the Doug. Return of the Jedi. So that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I have worked for some creeps in my life. And you know what I mean? What can I do? What can you do about it? Like at this, I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. If she was working in the office under him, what do you want her to do? Go out there and I mean,
if she's guilty, any parties have the right to depose. Any parties have the right to sue and depose her. They haven't, so let's move on. This is a stupid conversation.
Yeah,
like seriously.
It's stupid, Marty. It keeps wanting to happen. That's why I would rather just say my piece on it, though. And that's that.
Oh no, yes, him. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
I just unless there's like huge elements of it that I don't understand or that I don't know about, I just don't really see what you can do or what she could have done about it. Like. What you know what I mean? It's when you have a job, you have a job. It's like if you know he's in there, drugging people and shit like that, then yeah. But I mean, when you just know that your boss is a creep, I've had bosses that were a creep too, but I still had to pay the rent. you know?
Only worked for one place that wasn't fucking evil. And I worked for my father, and my father, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just like, here's the thing. One person goes to jail and everyone wants to become a sleuth. Now, I like Marty. I like our audience. I really do. We have a good positive audience. But I remember when the Boston bombing happened, everyone was on the internet and Reddit fucking trying to figure out, and they're like studying photos. And all they ended up doing was going after a bunch of dudes who had nothing to do with it. You know? That's nothing's ever changed. So like, this is not a case that's being hidden by any DA. There's plenty of people going to court. The dude's in jail. If anyone needs to be sued over, it either would have happened or will, so don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's that justice is being taken care of in that case. In the meantime, man, like, can we complain about the Boba Fett? By the way, that first episode, like I said, had that been something we'd gotten before Mando, if that was the first TV series for Star Wars, it'd be all right, man, this is a good start, you know? It's just we got 2 live action seasons and it's like, all right, this is something I enjoy watching, but it needs to get somewhere quick. Like, let's hope if we don't get there by the 3rd episode, man, you know, probably should have put up 2 episodes instead of 1. That's my advice.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because he's back. I don't know if he wants to buy something, if he wants to rent, if I'm hogging the Sour Patch Kids. You know what I mean? He won't fucking leave, dude. Like, he's been in the blockbuster since 1995. You know, he don't even rent Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, get out of here, dude. It can happen for you.
I can't leave. I'm doing the podcast.
So this guy right here, there's this site. I don't know if it's reliable or not. It's called bestmanbulletin.com. I don't know if I trust something just put up on a bulletin board. No, I'm kidding.
A bulletin. What was he? Bestman Usenet before this? Huh? Was he used? No. Bestman Angel Fire was taken? What?
What is this right here? What is this, like, missed connections? I saw you.
I bet Bestman GeoCities really knew what was going on with Disney Plus Day.
So Bestman Bulletin writes, during the summer discussing film, reported that the Acolyte would film at Pinewood Studios, London, from February of 2022. Following the report, myself and other insiders, blah 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 blah. Not to talk, just we already know we talked about that. The latest issue to Production Weekly, the Acolyte is slated to begin filming in May, but not in Los Angeles, but in the United Kingdom, as we had all originally heard. My source told me on several occasions over the past few months that Pinewood was gearing up for a Star Wars production, and it seemed to be for the Acolyte, which was the assumption. Yeah, see, so to add my little 2 cents into here, I think at one point there may have been some ideas of filming in two locations. Somebody told me that filming in the United States on a stage is different than filming on than doing a location shoot. And if they should do that, some of the tax exempt status, I don't know exactly what their deal is. They had a deal for a huge tax break to film at Pinewood initially. That's changed. It's a new one now. I don't know what the terms of it are. My opinion, that probably has something to do with it. Is it may have been cheaper or more economical or just more sensible for them to go and build a new volume out there to use for the places where they need it than to come over here and lose that tax exempt status on that production or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not a lawyer.
I was informing someone last night on my I was streaming late. I went to sleep early, woke up. So I'm streaming at 2 a.m. And I'm like, hey, I'm on the Star Wars podcast because everyone wants to talk about Star Wars. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I brought up Acolyte because they're like, I wish they'd make a Sith show. I'm like, well, there's the Acolyte. And they're like, never heard of it. And I'm like, yeah, but I couldn't remember if it was shooting in Long Beach or overseas. And I was like, I remember there's something weird going with that one. Like, I was like, I know there's something weird going on. Jason remember it. But and then today of all things, here you go.
Yeah. And but what I find questionable about all of this is that when I hit up my sources just this week about that rumor that there's secret filming going on at Pinewood, I was told we're building sets for Acolyte. Shut up. basically. And you know, what I mean, it was a friend, obviously, but
it was as if I had responded to you. Shut up! What are you doing?
Shut up, man! God, dude,
One thing for certain,
sucks.
I ain't gonna be on the shill list. Not even for married children.
Yeah.
I don't even shill for me. You know,
Right.
I might be on the simp list though. Can we do that? Yeah, thirsty Thursdays.
And then yeah, Beth, just like I was told pre-pro too, man. So it's like we are on the same page there. But what I do want to throw in there though is that's a hell of a lot of time to be building. I mean, sometimes they will put like a very small crew. Like for instance, they don't start filming Mando until until October, really. Regardless of what anything or anybody said, real filming did not begin until October. I mean, it's always been that way, and it always will. The camera test, well, we might have filmed a little bit, but whatever. Anyways, they start building really early sometimes, but with the people who they're building with, like I personally watched it, and it will be like 4 people. It'll be like 4 dudes just like going up, and then no, yeah, right, yeah. Where is Jesse, man? But they'll put up like 4 or 5 like wall, like they'll put up like 4 or 5 walls. Look it up, you know what I mean? And it's like it's technically started, but they take a couple photographs, then they just tear it down. They don't destroy it. They just disassemble it and put it away. And it's like they probably were like doing previs and wondering about things, and we're like, what do we get, you know, and wanting to test light and stuff. So, but you know, it's a little bit different out in Pinewood than it is out here in El Segundo, looking at it from the Apollo parking structure, you know, but it's just a completely different situation. So it makes
once Jesse drove that car and almost ran you out the freeway, he left the show. So now we know.
And yeah, so is this, you know, are they just like getting started early, building stuff, you know, getting small skeleton crews, you know what I mean, together? Because when they want to do secrecy, when they want to keep stuff secret, they'll use skeleton crews at Pinewood. It never works. In fact, everybody goes, "There's a skeleton crew! Oh my god, did you hear there's a skeleton crew?" It's usually the opposite of successful in my estimation. But anyway, so I'm curious if this production start date is accurate, or if it is, you know, at all, because it does seem a bit early though. Because I mean, they're starting now, and we are going to hit January, February. It's like 2 to 3 months of building sets is usually enough. But maybe with COVID, as Bespin's pointing out, maybe they need to, you know, take their sweet ass time just to make sure. And there is no rush, and they have the storage capacity there right now, from what I understand too. So yeah, Mandalorian is set to film in September 2021. And I'm telling you again, I'm going to tell you again, it's not going to film in September. It's going to film in October. They're going to have dudes putting together huge walls. Nobody's going to film shit in September 2021, and it'll be October, man. That's when it really begins. That's when the thing. I'm not saying they won't film
talking about
fucking
the past
thing
already though, right? Like,
what's that?
I mean, it started filming 2 months ago.
Yeah, but
this is 2021, right? I didn't wake up a year ago. Like,
no, you didn't.
My God, dude, you're confusing it. Don't fuck with time with me, man.
Basically, here's what it comes down to is when we're dealing with the standard episode number that we do of that about eight episodes, they want that Christmas break. Favreau cares about I'm not yelling at you, Messwood. Rob will fight. No, now I want Rob tagged me in, dude. He's tagged me in. I'm coming for you.
Do I look like a workout? Like, you know, even in the army, I did 100 push 500 crunches a day. I was just a schlub, a normal dude. I don't get it. My strength is this, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, hey, like I'm very good at that. This, I'm nobody.
Yeah.
I'm average dude. I'm Adrian Brody and Predator, too.
No, but anyways, they want oops, hit my desk. They want that break during Christmas right in the middle of the production. And Favreau likes that. Favreau cares about the family. It's a family man. Wants that break to be there. Wants to see his family during those times, which is one of the reasons why whenever you send me fake stuff, not Bespin, but whenever somebody sends me fake stuff and they want to fool me, it's never going to be Favreau in the UK. I've gotten that one a few times. Favreau's coming to make Mandalorian in the UK. You know that, right? Like, no, they're not going to. But he did come really
Favreau
close.
In the UK should be a Netflix series though.
Favreau in the UK,
and he never goes. Like
these bangers and mash really need some salt.
He tries different British restaurants in the LA area.
That makes sense.
And he doesn't know the difference between crisps and chips, and it fucks everyone up. Yeah,
and then the Amandla Stenberg role, we never got any more confirmation that went through. I'm guessing that it did probably go through, but I'm surprised it got so quiet after. Usually there's a little bit more going on with that, but so I'm curious to see if we end up with anything more. But it's being run by Leslie Headland. Headland is best known for creating the series Russian Doll, which is totally worth watching in one night if you're bored on Netflix and want to watch a little series that you can do in a night. Headland's other notable work includes Bachelorette, starring Kristen Dunst, Isla Fisher. Yeah, I'm not watching that. And then so Lucasfilm and Disney have not confirmed a release date or even a release year for the Acolyte at this time, but the assumption is still released sometime in 2023 along with the upcoming Ahsoka series. Agreed. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I would not be surprised if it's filming earlier though. That's just my guess. But at the same time, with like Bespin points out, with the Omicron, stuff, who knows? Is this Mike Zero? Well, wait, yeah, I'm Mike Zero. And so what's going to happen in Acolyte? Jeff Bridges shows up, and he, with two hands, pulls down two Star Destroyers, and he mashes them into each other, right? Then he takes the cores, combines the cores, and then pulls that into his lightsaber. It goes into the hole of his lightsaber, and then he shoots out a big beam and uses that to blow up Death Star 3. Acolyte, time travel series.
This is really good stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, write it down. Write it down.
Zero. Less greater than less than zero with the cores. Okay.
Less than zero, the Mike Zero story.
I didn't ever know if it's the little alligator eats it or the big, I don't fucking know, cheese wedge, pizza slice. Anytime they relate math tricks to food, I just think of food. I could never hear anything they say.
If anybody ever wants to annotate the Zeroverse so we can like go over all of that story one day,
hey. Now I've been waiting for Patton Oswalt to do cameos, and this is what I'm paying him for. All right, don't take my idea.
Well,
do not pay Patton Oswalt money to read off the Mike Zeroverse.
They hired Jeff Bridges. They don't have the money for that now. Sorry. James Washington says, which timeline is this series set in? Sorry if I missed it. So it's set in the High Republic era, but it's said to be at the tail end of it. And the reason why that is so that way they can essentially not run into any of the stuff that they're doing, and it's free to just go where it needs to go to bridge into the Phantom Menace era. The thing about it is I think that there is some confusion here on the Acolyte era, and I'm not convinced that anybody knows what they're talking about on this one, because the High Republic era goes up to 50 years before the Phantom Menace. So people are assuming that the Acolyte takes place 50 years before the Phantom Menace. It's a fair enough assumption, but it's in no way concrete, because if you have an era that, let's say, lasts 1,000 years or 500 years, Just because it ends at 50 years before Phantom Menace doesn't mean the series takes place there. The series could be 100 years before Phantom Menace, and the events of it just slowly unwind after the series ends, and then we get to Phantom Menace. So
it can end with Lil Qui-Gon, right? Lil Qui-Gon shows up, and James can finally about his Qui-Gon series, and we'll get Lil Qui-Gon.
Stop talking about what do you see, Qui-Gon? It's not Qui-Gon, dude. His name is Qui-Gon. God, James. But yeah,
J's are cuz.
Remember that was kind of a thing that people used to do on accident a lot. Qui-Gon. Did you encounter that? There was like a Qui-Gon epidemic in the late 90s for a while.
It's like people who say gifs or gifs, fucking assholes. What they are.
I looked it up one time, and it was GIFs, and I was really mad.
Because he's dumb. Because the guy who created it is an idiot. It makes no sense. It's not graphics. Can't wait to go catch some Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters,
right? Like it doesn't make any. Why have a G and a J? No one goes. I mean, goes. No one Joes down the street. I want to eat sloppy goes. I love sloppy goes. Favorite day at the cafeteria. You know.
There we go. Right.
It's some Gello, some green Gello.
Ghostbusters, answer the call. Hello? Hello? Is there a spirit in the room? No. Okay. I won't do that anymore.
Those are horrible glasses. Those are what that I imagine people feel like wearing 3D glasses feels like.
Yeah.
You have the shitty
they actually really hurt. I strangely enough I've been to a lot of quote punk shows in my time, and but one of the craziest shows I ever went to was Devo at a racetrack, and it was just full of like old angry punks, and then a bunch of like young angry punks, and they met in the middle. But like Devo is that space in the middle here.
And was it whippets
no,
and they were doing whippets?
No, it was a horse racetrack. I felt dirty being there, but the beer was cheap, and Jason
it didn't take much.
It doesn't take much.
I feel horrible. It's cheap beer and it's Devo, so can't do more.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, they had Bud Light Lime on tap.
So it was hosted by Mike Zero.
Maybe, and but yeah, I got super buzzed. I was just like, oh, the girl I was with, I didn't want to get beat up, so like I had to like move to the back. But that's how you get some Devo glasses out of Jason. That's how I buy those. But I saw Devo many times, and one of the times they gave me the energy dome. But then my friend's girlfriend threw it in the trash. My drummer's girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, I think.
Those glasses look a lot like Nintendo's VR Labo. Like, did you ever get that? It's horrible. I was like, I'll get this. Will be fun. Labo, yeah. Dude, it's this cardboard like VR glasses thing that you put your Switch into, right? And it's kind of fun. The software's nifty. It walks you how to make shit. You put it in there. You wear it. You want to throw up because it's the last system that should be doing VR. It's
I actually have. I just remembered a really funny Mike Zero story. Is that years ago? So he would go and he would leave comments on my articles on my articles and on my YouTube channel when I used to just use this YouTube channel for uploading video to put onto the site, but he would forget to switch accounts, and he would write something horrible, and then he would delete it and then write it again under the new account. But I would get the email that says Mike Zero says, I'm going to kill your wife kind of stuff. And
he's an idiot.
He's a fucking idiot. And yeah. So anyways, after that, I'm like, at first I just thought he was a lunatic idiot. And I was like, whatever. But then we started doing that shit. I was like, oh, gloves are off. Screw that guy. And but anyways, I start getting these emails from this person who's like, I'm Jenny Powers or something like that. I am a spokesperson for Mike Zero, and I am here to ask that you remove the copyright strike from his channel because he just stole my videos. He just took my videos and like straight up stole the whole thing. And so I was like, strike, fuck you, man. Gonna send me death threats and steal my shit? Eat a dick. And so I go and do that. And then he starts pretending. He does like the Donald Trump where he pretends to be like Jenny Powers, the representation of Mike Zero.
John Barron.
So, yeah. I should make a
Baron. Like he used to pretend to be a Baron, and then he named a kid. It's so weird, man.
It is weird.
So weird. I've listened to that phone call. It's like nobody talks like him.
Yeah,
nobody. You couldn't if you tried. Like you could always tell an impersonation from the real thing.
Yeah,
it's like Mr. T. Only one person can really talk like Mr. T. I've never even Eddie Murphy couldn't. It was still Eddie Murphy. You were never gonna mistake it. Maybe he's Striker. That's why you're Striker, because of all the strikes Mike Zero gave you. Oh, Max, good one, Max.
I'm gonna start writing Mike Zero. Hello, I am Jason Ward, the representation for Striker. I got to be honest, Luke. It wasn't. I made that name up, but it was something like that. But yeah, I don't remember what it was exactly. But I mean, a part of me always just hopes that he is a hilarious person that is doing this like long con Andy Kaufman thing, and it's really funny. The only reason why if I didn't have to like have people come to me going, hey, did you hear Jeff Bridges is bringing down Star Destroyers every couple of weeks? I would probably think it was totally hilarious the whole time.
Because he's high on mushrooms and that's what he sees when he hallucinates. But other than that, I mean, it's certainly not going to be that serious. And then if it is, and we're like,
then I want to be friends with Mike Zero because they sound fucking cool. It sounds like a good time.
We're all the Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs scientists. Watching Jeff Bridges do the thing. Like, yeah. If you weren't so psychotic, man, it would be fun to go like once a year, all those crazy scoops, and do Zero Fest and just read off all the shit.
Right.
And then watch me over here die of laughter because it's so fucking fun. Like it's shit I never would have conjured up. Like I'm just not that I'm not creative enough for half this. Like
Mike Zero, a year in review is technically right around the table if we wanted to. I mean, it is 2022 right
Zero Fest. I like Zero Fest 2022. Look at me. We had all caps. All our names need to be in all caps that day. Everything's all caps.
Yeah.
And we will be in complete monotone, and we will not
show any emotion. Somebody who I really respect did a tweet one time that I completely disagreed with. They were like, I respect like how hard that guy works. And I was just like, man, I get where the point he will do 4 or 5 videos a day. And then until one catches the algorithm, and then he will, I think, delete the ones that don't catch, and the one that catches is the one he leaves. And so on one hand, I get that. I get like the point of the tweet, but the difference is when you have to report accurate content, that is so taxing that I couldn't possibly do 4 or 5 videos a day of accurate information. So if I just got to make it up and I didn't have to like that phone call I'm going to make today when me and Bespin Bulletin are on the phone for 2 hours every week talking about what's really going on and stuff like that, it's not the same. I could make 5 more videos if I wasn't doing that. So do I respect it?
Making a YouTube video. I have over 1,000 videos in my YouTube channel. Yeah. I've been streaming every time I draw for the last 10 years almost now. And so it's like, so what? I turn on the camera 3 times a day and drew. So what? It's not the same as they went and scripted a series. You know what I mean? Got his friends over. They're doing scenes, editing it together. You turn on the fucking thing and talk. Like, yeah. Like someone teach a man to fish, and he thought PHISH.
Oh my God. Do you ever watch Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan? No. It's so good. He used to be All Gas No Breaks, and then they stole his channel because he made like a bad deal when he was like 18 or something. But he's one of those guys. But the guy will go out and he interviews people. It's almost like ethnography in a weird way. But with a dash of comedy. But he goes to a fish on the new episode. He goes to a fish concert and he's just like interviewing fish people. And there's this guy, and he has a shirt that says "Feminist AF," obviously feminist as fuck. And there's like, hey, can I ask you about your shirt? And he's like, yeah, feminist Abercrombie and Fitch. And he's all, my sister got it for me. So he thinks that's, but it's a feminist as fuck shirt. And I don't know. For some reason, I went to bed happy because of that, of the idiocy of that. It made me laugh. But that's,
I like
that's
Shogun Norta's Zero Palooza. He spelled it wrong, but yeah, Zero Palooza.
Zero Palooza needs the H. Does not have the H. I didn't see.
He spelled it in a way I've never seen it. Palusa.
Yeah.
Palooza. Palusa.
So here's what I think is going on with Acolyte based off of just the random little threads that we have is so in Solo: A Star Wars Story, you have Kira and Dryden Voss. Dryden Voss and Kira are technically acolytes of Maul, who's no longer Darth Maul, but he's Maul. He's running the criminal underworld. Excuse me. He wants to. Maul would love to be a Sith Lord again, but Darth Vader's out there, so he's in wait, right? So what did they do? What have we seen them do? Even down to Asajj Ventress, they will give him lightsabers, and they teach him martial arts. They teach him Teras Kasi, and then that's kind of like the foundations of becoming a Darth Maul, especially like a Phantom Menace era Darth Maul is an acolyte who comes up, learns all that. Because and in the original George Lucas backstory for Darth Maul, when Darth Sidious tells the Darth Sidious tells the Nemodians, "Here's my apprentice Darth Maul," he's jumping the gun a little bit. He hasn't become president of the galaxy yet, the chancellor, and murdered Darth Plagueis yet. He's just like, So technically, in George Lucas's mind, as the story ended up in the James Luceno novel, Plagueis is still alive during Phantom Menace. If you don't know that, Rob, and if that's confusing,
Sure.
In the George Lucas story, the retcon George Lucas story, on the eve that Palpatine becomes Chancellor, he gets Plagueis drunk and murders him, and then truly becomes a Sith Lord on that. That's the novel. But
he's Plagueis. So Palpatine is Robert Durst. Like he shows up in a disguise or a weird outfit, gets Plagueis drunk, and then murders him.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
But so anyways, though, with this being branded a martial arts based kind of thing, I have to assume that this is essentially maybe how somebody becomes a Sith apprentice, and so I'm guessing that the layout of the show in some way for our main character will be that she is recruited to become a Sith Lord, and she's going to have to go through all of those trainings, those trials, become the assassin, do all that stuff, and by the end of the series, perhaps murders the other Sith Lord or the apprentice to become it, and then we see sort of how the Sith Lord stuff actually plays out, because they've done just as much with Sith acolytes as they have with the actual Sith Lords themselves at this point on screen.
Is everything you just described is the least interesting part of the series to me. The most interesting part is the people making it, and when they talk about it, I get excited. If that's what they were describing, all this Star Wars weird lore shit, I'd be like, man,
no, they won't. Like, no, they won't. I'm laying out what is, I think, informing the internal logic of the creators based off of what is. And it's
just so hard for me, because when I hear Sifo Dyas, I'm like, it was a play on Sidious, and then he decided to make it a real. Why create a stupid alternate name you wanted to make some clones with, and then actually make that another character? It was just a goofy, because everyone was like, remember, you gotta go back when it came out. It was like, so his name is Sidious, but he said his name was Saifo Diaz, on that. Like he wrote down like Larry David. I'll just, Laurie
Do you want to know
Davida.
why?
But then Laurie Davida becomes an actual character because you really refuse to admit you came up with
That's
the stupid
name. No.
What happened is he's typing and he goes to type Darth Sidious is the one who ordered the clones, and he did a typo, and then being from that Orson Welles school of happy accidents, my God, now a new character is born.
It's so goof. So when I just look at my, all right, sure, this is all real. Like,
but basically,
okay.
in Star Wars, Terras Kasi is one step below getting your force powers. That's as powerful as you can become in that realm without taking the jump to being
Sure.
all and out force user. And then but so what I think it's going to be is I think it'll be like sort of a standard martial arts story about how somebody gets trained, how they become that assassin. And then I think we will start to see force powers introduced into it to her. And then eventually she will probably kill the Sith Lord and become one herself, or reject it and stop the Sith ascension 200 years before Anakin can be born. Something like that.
I just hope the fight scenes are better choreographed than that Boba versus the Naboo Shields fight.
Yeah. Until we know who is doing that side of things, who knows? Like when you hear Leslie Headland, when you think of Russian Doll, you don't think of those choreographed fight scenes. So you're going to have to go, who are they going to get? But why haven't they got back? What's his name from Phantom Menace, the Sword Master, Gillard? Like why haven't
Sword Master?
The Sword Master. That's what it's called, man. I
thought you meant Darth Maul. Sorry.
No, I talked.
Park's a little busy, man.
Yeah, I talked to him one time on Twitter, and I was like, "Dude, you doing episode 7?" He's like, "I'm afraid that ship has passed." And then I got that it was the dude from Game of Thrones, and I was like, the guy who fights the little girl, the little sword guy. He was the actual sword master. Anyways, strange, right? But yeah, his work on the Phantom on the prequels is fantastic. He didn't edit the Star Wars movies, and he didn't. So it's like, get that guy back.
Whoever told Ewan and Hayden to stand there doing this for a minute, I guess it's George.
Dude, that was a cool rave, though, dude. You ever watch that on MDMA?
I do watch Aeronauts. I watch Aeronauts, and they do a whole dance to it. It's amazing. Yeah. But in the context of that fucking film, I sat there like, I'm
once again,
like,
not the Gillard problem. That's that you know what I mean? It's
to me the best part of the Phantom Menace was what Ray Park brought to it. One would hope Ray Park isn't a psycho.
Yeah. So well, it's Nick Gillard.
I thought they didn't get along. I thought Gillard and Park didn't get along, is what I was told to understood.
I never heard that, so I can't comment. But I can't take the choreography complaint seriously when we all accept that Alec Guinness and David Prowse clinking sticks against each other is the duel of the century.
I can because Robert Rodriguez directed. But we're talking about Boba Fett, or we're talking about other shit. If we're talking about Boba Fett, I can complain because I'm comparing it to the last time Robert Rodriguez directed Boba Fett in a fight, which was dope. So there.
Yeah, when it comes, I mean, like the there are people who get bummed out by the duel in A New Hope, and I see it as the in A New Hope, the function is simply I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk some shit to this guy while my boy gets on the ship and I'm going to become a ghost. It wasn't, about I'm going to try to best this guy and cut off his.
And the complaints of the
shirt. And so now
the gripes about the Anakin Obi-Wan fight are in comparison to the Obi-Wan Darth Maul fight. Nothing topped that. Like nothing in the prequels topped that fight. That fight was the best fight out of all. That's it.
Yeah, for me,
it's not even close.
For me, if we just divorce everything about everything and just look at the fight scenes themselves, I go Phantom Menace and Last Jedi as the two if we just
Yeah,
look
that's
at
fair.
it for the visual, just as the fights. And there are times that I think Ryan came close though to really making that one rival it, because there was just so much going on. But at the same time, there's something about the way that the Darth Maul one plays out, and it's probably because of Ray Park.
And then I put the Luke Vader fight. It's not the Luke Vader fight it's just perfect in a dramatic sense, and
Yeah.
a master toying with someone who's way the fuck out of their league. With like, you can
what are you
see
talking about? Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back?
Talking about Empire. Talking about Empire. Mm-hmm. Like Vader toying with Luke, like you could see a director doing that in a way where it's like, oh, you think you can? No. You think you can? It doesn't play out that way. Like when you just watch the way the Vader's with one hand is just doing little moves and then back and then letting the Hamill's getting aggressive. Like it's all being done without, goofy dialogue. Like it's there's a lot going on there. So I put that's third, and it was second until the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi fight's great. Like super good.
Yeah. I it's weird. I like really do care about the fights, but at the same time, like it just depends on like how the fights connect to you, because like the Return of the Jedi fight for me is probably my third favorite, but it's definitely not the third best like lightsaber duel when you get down to it. You know what I mean? When you really get into it. But if you're
what's cool about the Last Jedi fight?
Mm-hmm.
What's cool about the Last Jedi fight is there's a Z axis that none of the other fights have. So when you watch Maul versus Ewan, right, or Obi-Wan, it's like this, and then he's going over, and there's a little bit. But what Rian and them figured out was like
Rian Johansson,
throw it. The saber goes way into the background. There's a guy over here that comes back over here. Like it's going forward and backward on the Z-axis that none of the fights had done that way before. There was the swinging on the fucking ropes and shit, and fucking that was not. Yeah. It's not what we're talking about. Yeah,
that looks pretty fun though. I would do that if I was a Jedi. Yeah,
my favorite part of SeaWorld was the zip lines.
Is when he gets the saber and turns it on and hits the guy through the eye. When Kylo does that, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Or when the character has that, with the red guard has that stuff, and he's like, that was dope. That was all good.
And when he gets thrown into the fan and like the little feathers come up at the end.
And look, I'm telling you, if I had the Infinity Gauntlet, I would have turned all the Gungans into Muppets. And when they get hit with blasters, it's stuffings. In the Star Wars universe, their blood is stuffing.
Yeah. I had a whole conversation with my son this week about it. He's like, "Look, man," he like comes to me, like brings me this knowledge. He's like, "The reason you don't really have blood in Star Wars is the lightsabers are hot. It burns the blood, it seals it. It's called cauterizing." I'm like, "Okay, man, cool, dude." That's what he said. And and then
never saw the original cut of A New Hope, huh?
Well, no. Then we went through all of the times you see blood. Like Walrus Man has blood, and you know what I mean.
Right. It's one of the biggest. It was horrifying when you first saw it as a kid. You're like, "What?" Just that, and that's why him disappearing was also a big deal, because you'd already seen him, Obi-Wan, use a lightsaber and then turn a guy into a sack of blood all over the floor. So we knew, wow, if he got hit with a lightsaber, it should be. You imagine? Yeah. Has anyone ever like deep faked or just edited that to what it would look like if blood had gotten all over the place?
Right.
And then, like, remember Predator 2 when Gary Busey gets predatored and like the whole bottom half of his body just bloods out?
Yeah, I'm curious. When we get to the next Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight, how things are going to feel, because when you have episode 4, they fight, and like I said, I just feel like it's to buy time now. Obviously, it was shot the way it was shot because Alec Guinness was older, not really going to go balls out with the sword fight, and David Prowse lied that he could sword fight and couldn't. And so you're going to end up with just two guys not wanting to break the light stakes, the light rods on set. Okay, so that's out of the way. So with that out of the way, like I said, it's about buying time for the New Hopes to get out of there, and to show Anakin the good side is stronger, that the good side is the better way to go. That I know a trick that you're never going to be able to learn as a Sith Lord. You want to stop people from dying? Well, I can't die. You know what I mean? And he does that too in his face. And maybe it'll get through to him. But so we have that, right? But then we rewind now to the Maul fight. They didn't want to spend money actually doing a Maul fight. So they're like, well, let's just have him do it, be like a chess match of 3 moves. Checkmate, bro. Who's it going to be? And then Maul's is like, oh, I'm dead. And then Maul gets cut in half. So we have him now being this fucking chess master player. And then now we're going to have the episode 3 rematch and Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars story, Disney Plus television series, event limited series. And when that happens, they go episode 3 plus. So,
I was thinking about this yesterday and how I believe how when they say things like all the comics are canon is the stupidest thing they could do. Because if Lucasfilm had that standpoint, then you couldn't have had even the Clone Wars Maul fight because of Star Wars Visionaries back in 2005.
Yeah.
Like you need the comics and the books to be a test run. When this shit is all, canon, like the cartoon should have been a test run in my opinion. Like it's a cartoon. It probably could have happened that way, but when it's 100% canon, dude, then you're like missed opportunity.
Yeah.
What they could just do is be like, didn't happen. Everything in that cartoon is until it conflicts with the live action, just pretend it didn't happen. He was high in the desert, or it happened and he lived and whatever. He was fighting a force projection. He's a dyad with himself. Darth Dyad.
No,
he's self-dyaded,
I do get fans oftentimes speculating with me or to me without my permission about dyads. And I'm like in my head I'm just like, if they do another dyad story in the generation of that dyad, then dyads don't mean anything. It's just they're all over the place. I don't think that will ever see one of those.
I cannot self-dyad.
Yeah.
I cannot self-dyad.
I cannot self-dyad. I got 2 ribs removed and I tried to self-dyad and I got close, but I need to get a 3rd rib removed. Yeah. So anyways, that just came to mind when you made that a joke. But I got to tell James though, force kicking was pretty cool, man. That's my favorite happy accident. That's my favorite Darth what is it? Sifo-Dyas moment is when Luke doesn't kick the guy, but he flies. So, oh no, a triad, the dark triad, killing cats, stealing, and murdering, or whatever. Is that what they call it in true crime? But Chris says Matrix Resurrections literally did the Diana in the 4. Sorry, Matrix. Man, the Matrix. Did you ever finish it? No.
I feel no. I don't. Look,
I just want you to see the very last scene.
Free yourself. If you feel no interest in finishing something, look, even if I turn on a Star Wars show and I'm like, I don't feel like I should have to finish this, I won't. I'll tell you when I tapped out. I'll admit I tapped out. I won't review some shit. I can't sit there and tell you the whole movie's great. I can tell you up to an hour, I tapped out. I'm like, you win. You win, Doug Hennig. Matrix Perfects tapped Rob right out, halfway through the match. I quit.
At the end,
it was above me. I'm not smart enough.
They do like a only a penitent man will pass moment with Indiana Jones where he has to step out and he goes to step out with Trinity and then they fall, but then she's the one who's flying and holding him. You're like, what? And then
the last movie I forced myself to finish was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. and I was
Yeah,
so
it's
mad
good.
with myself. I'm like, there's no
That's a
reason for
good one.
this. I didn't. I
No,
don't.
No, it does really fall apart in the third act, though. What do you call it? But yeah, and then at the end they fly like Superman, and when they fly like Superman at the end, they even like comment that that's like not how the audience like wanted the other part to end, and you're just like, no, this isn't that smart. It doesn't earn this. Like
It's
breaking
that
fourth wall.
smart, and we're all dumb. We're all dumb.
No, the
I don't know anything. I'm stupid.
no, I just think it's time to.
My father was right. I'm incredibly stupid. Thanks,
You're
Matrix, for
stupid.
reminding me. My father was
Oh,
right.
he's right, but you're right about the Matrix too. You could both be right.
That's true.
Yeah.
My dad probably would have liked. My dad, he didn't care. He was just like, "I'll put it on. It's good." Like that. He liked everything.
One
I can't
episode in
remember
your
my dad
out
ever hating.
Oh no, man!
I don't blame anyone if they don't want to finish something. Don't finish it. And by the way, like if I don't like something, I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. There's rare moments where I go, "This is an embarrassment," and you should like the Matrix Resurrections as a cinematic film experience is a bit of an embarrassment.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a low budget. When I say low budget, $1 million an episode, TV series. It doesn't look like a film because when they put it next to pictures of a film from the movie, you're like, there's a film. This ain't a film. Whatever this is a epilogue dissertation. This is like a college paper on why you shouldn't really like this. And I'm telling you, watching their portrayal of game developers is really fucking it. I get everyone thinks game developers are evil. Let's be honest. The people making the games generally aren't. The majority of people who make games are contract workers and QA people. And there's a couple assholes who run
masses proletariats.
And I don't see how they're any different than a director on set being a fucking asshole too. You know what I mean? Like, it's unfortunately we live in a world run by assholes, so I don't understand the point of everyone. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. It goes above my head. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm not smart. I'm stupid. I know this. So I go, I'm dumb. I'm going to go watch reruns of Monday Night Raw. This is actually what I did. I started over from scratch. I only like the 90s. So I start Monday, January 13th, 1993, and I watched some asshole from the I Am a Show make racist jokes for fucking half hour. Still better than the fucking Matrix Resurrections. I'm sitting there going, like, why are they letting them make these fucking racist jokes? And then they got rid of them after a couple episodes.
He asked, should I finish Matrix Resurrections? I got to the 1 hour 27 mark when Neo's team decides to do the rescue. And as a premise for moving the movie's narrative forward, I thought it was boring. Yeah. No, honestly, I wish I had never watched it other than the fact that I got to experience something so fucking dumb and just so uninspired and bad. I mean, as a model for why I will never really get that mad about. I mean, Star Wars Rebels probably made me the maddest of any Star Wars thing ever. And boy, I'm not that mad at it anymore. I kind of, it's like, hey, my boy over here is dumb, things, but he ain't as dumb as that Matrix kid down the street. You know what I mean?
I like the actress who played Bugs, but when they got her saying these stupid lines like Bugs Bunny and the color's like, man, we get it. We don't need you fucking spelling the shit out, That scene in the beginning where she does the leap, and it's an actual physical stunt, right? Where she leaps from building to building. I thought that was an excellent shot. The best thing I saw from a visual standpoint was excellent. When she hits the building, it crumbles, and then she flips off, and she lands, and it's more gritty and real. I'm like, okay, I like this. I like the noirish, the way the first movie had that noir feeling when you go in the Matrix.
Yeah.
That they never kind of went back to, and it kind of set it out. I'm like, I wish this leaned more into a 30s noir. I wish this looked like 1930s. Like the Matrix rebooted into some other configuration. Like anything but just telling me how the fucking movie I love was stupid and you're a fucking idiot for liking it. You know what I mean? I don't know who you're trying to... You're working that out. I'm stupid. I shouldn't have liked The Matrix.
Yeah,
you're right. The best movie in 1999 was The Mummy. Now,
Yeah, I wanted. Yeah, if they were going to go the route that they did go, they should have had. It should have just been fucking wild. Like it should have. Bugs Bunny should have just been walking down the street for a moment, and you're like, and he has to be like. It should have almost been. You should have been asking the whole time: is Neo a schizophrenic, or is this all? Is this, you know what I mean, broken? And what? Why? What is it? And then you could get into the questions about what reality is, because it's real to him, man. Just like wrestling.
But it always shows you how like everyone wants to like. So if I review what I think what I'm watching what the movie is, and I go, I don't like it because this and this is what I don't like in the movie. They will say you can't review what a movie isn't. You have to review what it is. And then you're like, all right, here's what it is. I don't like it. You don't get it. You're not supporting the director.
No.
What is this?
I'm not supporting the director. The movie shit.
The director got paid $20 million. Whether you see the movie or not, they're getting paid.
I got rent.
Like that director made more than everyone else except the actors. The lead actors make more than the director.
I say we get Lana, we get Doogie, we get a big old stack of Jacques Vallée books, and then we go talk about what reality is, and we make the Matrix for it.
Yeah, and and if we can just talk, get David Lynch, I'll listen to him talk. I will watch all of them talk about stuff. It's when people, how do I say this? It happens when artists have an art style, right? Like a specific art style, and I've seen this where they're able to do it for a certain point.
Give me water.
Right. They tend to shorthand their art style to a point where it becomes a parody of themselves. You ever notice if you're like, oh, I like the way the person draws big hands or different ears, and I like shape design. It's my favorite part of art. But then you notice 10 years later, it just is getting out of control. No one ever told them, hey, you need to chill a little bit on that and kind of rein it in. And this is like they self-parody. This director is now self-parody. I cannot self-parody. You were self-parodying yourself.
Like I wear these Ray-Bans everywhere all the time.
The last smart film they made for me was Cloud Atlas, and even then, there's moments in that movie where I'm like, I don't know. This is from what I heard. This is most of the crew from Sense8.
Thank you, Ben.
And Sense8 was not good.
No.
Like, it's not just unwatchable. People should have been fired for paying for that.
Yeah. No, I totally respect and understand somebody going, wow, I'm seeing something about me that is a very real part of my everyday life, and I'm seeing it on screen, and I never see that enough, or haven't ever seen it. And I get them having that experience, but that simply does not make it good, and it's not good. It just because it did that. Yeah, Sense8, I wanted to like it. It was drivel, honestly. And I'm to the point with the Matrix now. I was never a big Matrix fan. Like I said, when the Matrix came out, the first movie, I was like, whoa, this is fun. I thought I was going to go see, Devil's Advocate or whatever it was called, like another one of those Keanu Reeves movies, which I was like fine with, you know what I mean? Like it's a dumb fucking.
I saw
Keanu
Johnny
movie.
Pneumatic. I did not like Johnny Pneumatic. People try to tell me it's actually pretty good. It is not good. Stop.
No, it's a good book.
Like rewrite.
It's a good book, and it's not a good movie. Much better book, by the way. But once again, I don't understand why they can't make William Gibson. Why won't they make Neuromancer into a series or a film? It's so good, and instead it's like Matrix defines cyberpunk. It doesn't. I just don't fucking follow. I just don't understand what Hollywood's doing. It doesn't make. And what's kind of weird is like when you have like like back in the day, remember when like Star Wars came out and you got like Kroll and all those kind of movies, all those like Star Wars ripoff movies. Why didn't another studio go, you know what? We could have our own Matrix. It's called Neuromancer. Did they own it? I don't understand. Like, do the people who own Matrix own Neuromancer's rights to the film?
They were gonna have to outspend, and they were already spending $150 million a movie.
Yeah,
at that point in the early 2000s, what they spent on the sequels was absurd.
Yeah,
absurd. Like you could have used They'd be like, but I like the highway sequence. Okay, great. That could have been the big set piece, and then trim it down. But no.
if you have a good idea for if you feel like a sequence, make it a music video. Fucking make Thriller. Get fucking Puff Daddy or whatever, and make a really rad music video for 20 million and do the sequence there. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I don't really like giving.
But it's like in the second movie, you get him fighting all the Agent Smiths, but then the third movie we have to do it again. Like, so if you're gonna fight all the Agent Smiths, save it for the third one when he takes over the Matrix, because you're writing them at the same time, right? In the second movie, make your big sequence the highway thing, because it's a cool idea, you know, that it's an information highway. It represents a couple different things, you know, it's cool. But man, oh man, like whatever. Like we could rant about this for 9 years, but at the end of the day, like people, it's okay for artists to make bad shit and to not be in like never make something again mode. But when you get into the point where you're like, no, it is good, you don't understand it, everyone else is stupid, then you're that thing in college where like, so no one can critique each other's work here. You know, who can? Who can critique? If the person who you said, I'm going to go over here and pay the money, can't say nothing about it. If no one on the internet can say nothing, no one at the studio can say nothing, who can never say anything, then, I mean, the only way they learn is to not give them money.
Yeah.
You know? And at the end of the day, they only made, if you actually did a real theatrical window, they made 12 million this weekend. They're like, we made 25. I'm like, funny way to fudge the numbers. You made $12 million. Like, do you understand, even during the pandemic, how fucking bad that is?
Yeah.
Like, really bad. Like for the level of talent and name recognition this had, really bad.
Yeah, there was an article that I confess I didn't read because I was just like, oh, fucking don't care anymore. But in it, where they were saying, it was somebody from the studio saying that they want to make another Matrix movie and they're gonna bring her back and Alana to make it, and it's like, all right, well, yeah, I am to the point that it's what I liked about the first one was mostly a happy accident based off of a neuromancer buzz, and everything after that is, you know, 4 movies and stuff I don't like. I just think it's time to call it a day.
I'm sorry, I'm reading this, my man, and I got a George McFly.
Okay, go ahead.
Has everyone ever noticed that Tarzan yell in wait, Pack? What is B-O-B? Oh,
Boba Fett.
Everyone noticed the Tarzan yell in Book of Boba Fett right when the Red Fighters show up. My thoughts: Chewie's Tarzan yell from Return of the Jedi is actually a Wookiee battle cry. Maybe a Wookiee sent the Red Fighters. This is a totally original theory I had not heard of yet, and I love that it came from Jürgen Mayer. Like, I love.
But when you don't write Wookiee with 2 E's, you deny Wookiees their agency, you piece of shit. Sorry.
It's how we say it. No, it's how we say it in Germany.
I wanted to make that joke, but then I realized I probably do not know how to pronounce his name, and I was like, well, that's not going to work.
It's not the Christmas bread with fruits and nuts. We didn't stolen it. You know, like, all right, funny, I get it. Stolen, I get it. Yeah. The fact, dude, if they fucking try to say the Tarzan yell is a Wookiee battle cry, I swear to fucking.
Oh well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is now. I mean, I think that's what it becomes. They stole Tarzan. That's fine, because it's pretty much the only interesting thing about Tarzan. You know. I mean, is there really? I don't know. Tarzan and just Tarzan's like I don't understand how it's got the longevity it's had.
It was over 100 years ago. I don't know how it made it out of the 30s. You know.
The mayor's major domo gave us the foreshadowing of the red tracksuit mafia showing up. Oh, that was a big question that I had actually that I noticed I wanted to bring up yesterday. Is so Boba goes to Flashdance, fancy bar. Flashdance is there looking all sexy, gives him a helmet full of Chuck E. Cheese tokens, says, go to the arcade and play, baby. Get out of here. And he's like, all right. He's like, see, we did it. Seconds after that, the red ninjas show up and try to kick their ass. I'm curious if she's actually working for the mayor, gave him the money over, knowing that the ninjas were going to jump out, kill him, just take the money right back. So I'm wondering if she's the one who alerts them where they're at. So she could actually be a villain in this.
When none of this is as smart as you theorize, you're gonna be let down.
No,
Okay.
but I would say if you and I
No.
walked into Blockbuster Video, and then right after some dudes who were looking for us jumped us, I would probably think the person at Blockbuster Video turned us in. So I think makes the most sense.
Boba's going to blitz a chance.
Yeah,
they're gonna play some Roy. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I love Roy. It's the best video game ever made.
How's it going, X-Wing? Boba's going to blitz and jits.
Yeah. It's the one. Look, if we didn't have this stupid pandemic, they would have made a blitz and shits at Comic-Con by now. Like you'd be able to go down the street to blitz and shits, like.
Oh, and that was my other point that I wanted to make. This may refer to internal dialogue. It may not, but as Joel points out, it takes the helmet out of play. He doesn't have the rangefinder and all that stuff, whatever tactical stuff he gets for the fight, right?
So they intentionally filled it with tokens so that he wouldn't be able to just dump the money out right away and put it on because he's. But I'm also but I'm also going to throw it out there that him not being able to wear the helmet may be why he doesn't use the jetpack. Safety first. When all of the shield guys go around him, you know what I mean? He may not. I hear.
He may need that helmet to successfully use that rocket pack into its full. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe that's
the people who wrote it knew he was gonna get his helmet knocked to the ground. The logic in the universe is, well, we'll fill it with tokens, and maybe he won't just dump the money out. And like we could have just bent his antenna too, like knife the inside of his visor so he couldn't use something. I mean, so what? I hear you, but it's that's fine.
Oh, Geek Fury says Star Wars doesn't have bags. Yeah, right. So Salvador asked, do you remember?
I've never noticed that.
Hold on, Kennedy.
No. There's JanSports in Star Wars because Anakin has clearly a sewn polyester coated backpack. That's not true.
That backpack's plastic, buddy. It's plastic.
Not
like
true.
Like Vicky from Small Wonder. Do you remember Catherine Kennedy spoke about a huge project that's going to unify the series and the movies? What do you know about? It's going to be episodes 10 through 12, another project for Disney Plus. What I think she is referring to is the fact that Boba and Mando are working together in tandem towards a larger, bigger story. And so it won't surprise me if we end up seeing Boba and Mando 3 linking up in some way and then going through the Ahsoka through line and then to something bigger. So, for instance, this is speculation. I speculate that we may see Ahsoka having to go up against Thrawn and his Imperial Remnant, and that may require the use of a Mandalorian armor in order to get there. So that could be either a third series or the culmination of the Ahsoka series. And so as it moves on, you know what I mean? So basically, that's what I think she is saying, is that we're going to see all of these things snowballing into an ongoing story to keep you subscribing to Disney Plus.
Chewbacca has a bag. Seriously,
Chewbacca has a bag.
You're right. I forgot about that. I always see the belt, but I forget he has a bag.
A huge sack, in fact. A huge red sack.
You got me. I would have lost that one in the Making Star Wars Double Dare. I would have had to take the physical challenge.
And Geek Free says what Kennedy means is they're going to do a DC CW team up type thing where all the shows drive towards a big show. But I would even throw in there that I left out Star Wars Rebels, and we know all the Star Wars Rebels characters are coming to the Ahsoka series as well. So now we have things from the films, we have things from the cartoons, we have all of that going into this one funnel and going out into the future storytelling of Star Wars. So that's really what I think she was getting at. And I'm curious to see how
we're originally going to call I was originally going to call him Snooky Diaz, but it sounded like Snooky Diaz, and there was a guy on the set, and he was getting confused, and so we changed it to Sifo Diaz.
So instead, they took his picture and they put it on a Nazi's outfit and hung it on the wall in the office. It was fine. It was just boys being boys.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Jet thought it was hilarious, and he finds everything. So do
Poor
I,
Jet.
so.
Luke says Poe has the cutest little satchel in The Rise of Skywalker. That's true. He does. His little Indiana Jones. He keeps his little phone in there. Little Chuck E. Cheese tokens. That Imperial tokens we could fly wherever.
I do want to say though, when they started giving them actual coins, I was like, they're gonna need physical treasure for heists, because when you just loot data, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
You gotta have physical treasure in Star Wars. You gotta have the actual loot.
Oh yeah, our brains are not made to comprehend credit, which is why it's a thing.
Right.
Which is why we must have credit card balances.
And it's always a scheme. Doesn't matter if it's cards or NFTs or whatever.
Yeah, so that's definitely where we end up with that jazz. Yeah. So anyways, I think we're going to end today's show here a little bit early today because my Penny kid wants to go eat some lunch. She's hungry.
You going to Olive Garden?
No, don't say that, you piece of shit.
Sorry.
She just heard you.
Sorry, I forget.
I'm gonna get that pizza. No.
See what happens when you don't want to wear headphones?
You son of a
I forgot. That is my bad. I didn't mean to do that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm perfectly fine with telling my kids no. It's not a big deal.
See, here's the difference though. When you got a wife and you're like, spaghetti, but then you don't make it, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
There is no. You're on the hook. So no.
Penny, do you want to talk about Star Wars? No? Why are you on a Star Wars show? Did you like Book of Boba Fett, or did you find it boring? Be honest. You like it or you don't? You do like it? Okay. Yeah. You didn't seem too enthusiastic about it, but I saw your little peepers on it. Wasn't sure what you thought. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
How come Luke had so much energy, but I was so sleepy?
Yeah, she asked why did Lukey have so much midnight energy when she was so sleepy? She fell asleep on the first night. She saw the beginning and then she fell asleep. So she watched it on.
Now I want to go watch Midnight Madness. It's been a while.
Jason is capable of spawning.
Midnight Madness?
This is true. I'm pretty good at making these things too. Like when I try, I'm like Luke Skywalker in the Death Star, first time every time. You know what I mean? Need a baby? Hit me up. Anyways, Penny, say goodbye. All right, everybody. We will see you guys tomorrow. Are we doing the show tomorrow? You free tomorrow? You want to do a show tomorrow? You want to take tomorrow off?
Or is tomorrow Friday?
Tomorrow's the 31st.
Oh, I can do a show tomorrow. Okay. I don't have kids, man.
Yeah. I think you're gonna go to your mom's. So I think I'm gonna be free. So you're trying to
show tomorrow.
Hey, you almost Jabba the Hutt me, Princess Leia. Jason Slayer. All right. Okay. Anyways, so we will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Good to see you again, Geek Furious. We missed you, man. You have to come hang out with us one of these days when you feel like it. And X-Wing, always great to see you too, and everybody else. And we'll be back tomorrow for our last show of the year. Maybe there'll be news. Probably won't be because people are going to be partying and getting ready to party.
Peace and love, Bespin Bulletin. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Oh, you know what I need to do? What I always forget to do is play my little ad here about why you should be a Patreon person. Hi, I'm a cartoon depiction of Jason Ward. You can support the show on patreon.com/MakingStarWars or on YouTube by becoming a channel member. It hurts to be a cartoon. It's very painful, in fact. But know that every time this channel gains a supporter, a little piece of my soul leaves this toon universe and returns to Jason, making us whole again. This show will always be free, but it's never been free to create. If you think it deserves it, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you for the support. Please Help me die. I have little
one's
tiny
spoiled.
hands. Look at my little
No spoilers
hands.
for the Star Cruiser.
Look at my little hands
Don't
typing.
spoil.
This is my little hands.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
I didn't have the fluffy thing.
I don't really. I think I just need the fluffy thing when I'm like pin